Stop. Set down everything you are carrying for the next few minutes and stay here with me. The list of things waiting on you, the questions circling your mind, the worry that follows you from room to room, set it down for now. I am not here to add more noise to your day. I am here to speak to the one place inside you that has been waiting quietly and patiently. For a long time, I know exactly where you are. I know the weight pressing on your shoulders before you even open your eyes in the morning. I know the questions you carry that you have never said out loud to another soul. I know the fear you hide behind a steady voice and a calm face. None of it is hidden from me. None of it ever was. This moment did not find you by accident. I am not speaking to everyone today. I am speaking to you, in this exact place, at this exact hour, because I have something to say that your spirit has been waiting to hear. Do not rush through these words. Do not let your mind wander toward the next task before this one is finished. Let what I am saying settle into the deep places where your real decisions are made. There is something stirring inside you right now, and you feel it even when you cannot name it. It rises in the quiet hour before the day begins, and it returns again at night, when the noise finally fades and your heart has nowhere left to hide. It is a restlessness, a pressure, a sense that something is unfinished. You have tried to outrun it by staying busy. You have tried to bury it under tasks and conversations and the small distractions of an ordinary day, but it keeps returning, does not it? That is not your imagination working against you. That is my voice, refusing to let you settle for less than what I have for you. I am not willing to quietly let you miss what is on the other side of the step you keep avoiding. My beloved, hear this clearly. There are seasons when waiting is exactly right. I have called you into stillness before. I have hidden you away in quiet places where no one else could see, and I did some of my deepest work in you there. I deepened your roots in those hidden years so that when the wind came you would not fall. I shaped your heart in the dark and refined what mattered most. Those seasons were never wasted. They were holy and they were mine. But the season you are standing in now is not one of those seasons. This is not a season of waiting. This is a season of movement. I have already done the building. I have already done the shaping. And now I am asking you to take what I placed inside you and use it. The restlessness you feel is not confusion. It is a calling. The discomfort you cannot shake is not a warning. It is proof that you have outgrown the ground you have been standing on. You were not meant to stay there forever. You were meant to move. And it is time. Think of a seed resting beneath the soil. For a long time nothing is visible. The ground looks empty and undisturbed, as though nothing is happening at all. But underneath, the roots are reaching deeper. Life is building in the dark, unseen and unhurried. And then comes the moment the seed can no longer stay buried. It breaks open. It pushes upward toward the light, even though breaking open costs the seed everything it has. That moment of breaking is never comfortable. It was never meant to be, but it is necessary because no seed was ever created to stay buried forever. It was created to rise and become something alive, something that feeds the ground around it. You are that seed, my child. I have been growing roots in you that run deeper than you know. I have been preparing something real inside you in the hidden place. And now I am calling you upward, not because rising will be easy, but because rising is what you were made for. You were not made to stay buried in the ground of your own hesitation. You were made to grow, to break open, and to bear fruit that blesses every life that touches yours. You already sense what I am asking you to do. I did not write it in the sky for you to find. I placed it quietly in your thoughts, in the pressure on your heart, in the idea that keeps returning when everything else goes silent. Maybe it is a decision you have been circling for months. Maybe it is a conversation that needs your honesty. Maybe it is a hope you buried because someone once told you it was too much for someone like you. Whatever it is, I placed it there on purpose. I am precise. I do not act by accident. So stop looking away from it. Look at it directly, bring it into the light before me, and be honest about why you have been avoiding it. I am not asking you to be afraid of what I am about to say. I am asking you to be ready to receive it, because what I have for you is not a burden. It is the very thing your heart has been longing to carry. Hear me now, the waiting is over. I am not asking you to have it all figured out before you move. I am asking you to trust me enough to take the next step, even without the whole picture in front of you. That is what faith has always looked like. Not certainty, trust. And I am with you in every step of it, from the smallest act of courage to the very end. Say, I hear you, if these words are reaching your spirit in this moment. Now, let's talk honestly about why you have been delaying. It is not always because you are being careful or wise. Sometimes, if you are willing to admit it, the reason is fear, and fear is clever. It rarely says, I am afraid. It puts on nicer clothes. It calls itself patience. It calls itself discernment. It says, I am just waiting for more clarity, when what is really happening is fear sitting quietly on the throne of your decisions, wearing a costume so convincing you stopped questioning it long ago. I am not angry with you for being afraid. I know your history. I know the moments you were brave and it cost you. I know the times you trusted and were let down, the times you stepped forward and the ground did not feel as solid as you hoped. I was there for every one of them. I watched the walls go up around your heart, one brick at a time, until stepping forward began to feel like stepping into danger. But hear me, beloved. I did not bring you this far to let fear write the rest of your story. The walls you built to protect yourself have also been keeping out the very things I have been trying to give you. I do not want you to live inside that fortress forever. I want to lead you out. I want to heal what is still sore in you and restore what was broken. But that healing rarely happens while you stay hidden. Sometimes courage comes after the step, not before it. Sometimes confidence is built in the doing, not in the waiting, until you feel ready enough to begin. Some of what you have been avoiding is not even large. It only feels large because you have carried it in silence for so long. A decision left unmade, a truth left unspoken, a boundary you keep promising yourself you will set tomorrow. None of these things need a miracle to begin. They only need your yes. I am not asking for a perfect plan. I am asking for one honest step taken today, in the direction I have already shown you. I also need to speak to the comparison you have been making. You have been seeing others move forward, start things, say the brave thing. You have been too afraid to say, and instead of it inspiring you, it has been shrinking you. You tell yourself they have something you do not. More confidence, more talent, some extra portion of grace that skipped over you. But hear this clearly. Most of the people you are comparing yourself to are not moving because they have more than you. They are moving because they decided to stop waiting until they felt ready. That is the only difference. Not gifting, not anointing. A choice. And you are just as capable of making that same choice today. What I have placed inside you carries your name, and no one else's. It is shaped by your story, your voice, your pain, your particular way of seeing the world. No one else can carry what I built in you, and no one else can do it the way you were made to do it. When you sit on the sidelines telling yourself someone else is more qualified, you are not being humble. You are believing a lie that keeps you small in a life I designed to be wide and full. So stop measuring your steps against someone else's stride. Bring your eyes back to what I placed in your own hands. That is where your attention belongs. Let me tell you about a river. When a river flows, it is alive. Fish swim in it. Birds drink from it. Everything near it is touched by its movement. But when a river is blocked, the water collects in one place. It grows still, then cloudy, then lifeless. What was once a source of life for everything around it becomes something nothing wants to come near. You were made to flow like that river, not to sit still until you grow stagnant. I put life inside you so it would move outward, touch other lives, and carry hope into ground that has been waiting for exactly what you carry. When fear or delay blocks what I intended to move through you, something inside you begins to feel exactly like that stagnant water, heavy, dull, and far from the fullness you remember. That heaviness is not a mystery. It is simply the sign that you were made to flow and you have been standing still. So today I am asking you to remove the blockage, open the places where you have been holding back. Let what I placed inside you start moving again, going somewhere, doing what it was always meant to do. The moment you do, you will feel that aliveness returning, that sense of being fully yourself again, fully in step with the one who made you. Hear this too. The flow does not wait for circumstances to become perfect. A river does not pause until every rock in its path is removed. It moves, and then it carves its way around what stands in front of it. It moves, and the moving itself shapes the ground it travels through. That is how I work with you. I am not waiting for your life to become smooth before I use you. I am asking you to start moving so that together we can shape the path as you go. Think back to the moments in your life when you felt most alive. Were they the safest, most guaranteed moments? Or were they the ones that asked the most of your trust? Most people, when they are honest, discover that their most alive moments were never the safest ones. They were the moments that required walking towards something uncertain because I was calling. I do not meet you only on the comfortable shore. I meet you in the walk across the water, not in the security of knowing every detail in advance, but in the steady act of trusting the one who already does. I am inviting you back to that place today, back to the place where your heart is fully engaged because you are fully trusting, back to the place where every ordinary morning carries real weight because you are moving with me toward something that truly matters. Declare, I receive this if your heart is open to what I am building in you. Now let us talk about who you are, because underneath every delay, every hesitation, every fear of failing, there is a deeper question quietly running in the background. Am I really someone worth using for something this meaningful? Am I truly capable, worthy, equipped for what I sense I am being called to? And if I step forward and it falls apart, what will that say about me? That question about your worth is one of the heaviest weapons used against your obedience. When you are not settled in who I say you are, every risk feels like a test of your value. Every step forward feels like a trial you might fail, one that could prove something terrible about your worth. So you protect yourself. You stay where it is safe, because staying back at least means no one can prove you unworthy of the assignment. It feels like wisdom. It is actually a prison built from a lie. My child, I am asking you to place a portion of what you have, something of real weight, upon the altar of this work, as gold laid on the scales of this calling. Let it be a seed sown into deep water, an offering set on stone, not held back in fear. This is proof that your trust rests in my hand to provide, and that your heart no longer clings to lack. What you release in faith does not leave your life. It moves ahead of you into the harvest I am preparing. Hear this truth now, and let it settle into the very foundation of how you see yourself. Your worth was never attached to your performance. Your value was never determined by your success rate. Your identity was settled before you took a single step. Before you were even born, written into existence by the one who made you and called you his own. You are loved not because of what you do, but because of whose you are. That does not change with outcomes. It is fixed. It is eternal. It is more secure than anything the world can offer you or take from you. So when fear whispers that failing now would prove you were never really called, never really gifted, never really who you hoped you were, you have an answer. Your worth is not on the table when you take this step. Your identity is not at risk when you obey. You are not stepping forward to prove something to anyone. You are stepping forward to trust the one who already knows exactly who you are. When that truth becomes real in you, not just something you know in your head, but something settled deep in your spirit, everything shifts. The risk no longer carries the same terrifying weight. Failure stops being the worst thing that could happen because failure does not define you. Rejection still hurts, but it no longer devastates because your worth was never in the hands of the one doing the rejecting. And obedience becomes lighter, easier, more natural, because you are no longer carrying the impossible weight of proving your existence through your results. You are simply saying yes to me from a place of security in who I say you are. Let that settle in you right now. Let it go deep. You are my child. You are loved. You are called. You are equipped, not because you earned it, but because I chose you. And what I choose, I equip. What I equip, I cover, and what I cover, I carry through to completion. You are not in this alone. You never have been, and you never will be, my beloved. I also want to speak to something practical about the way I lead you, because one of the things that keeps people stuck for a long time is a misunderstanding about how much clarity I give before I ask them to move. You imagine that if I were truly calling you to something, I would make it so unmistakable, there would be no room left for doubt. You expect a clear and final answer, a complete map, before you feel free to take the first step. But that is rarely how I work with the ones I love. Think of Abraham. I told him to leave his country, his people, and his father's household, and go to the land I would show him. Not the land I was already showing him in full detail, but the land I would show him along the way. He did not receive the whole address before he started walking. He received an instruction and a promise, and then he had to move before the rest was revealed. He went, not knowing where he was going. That is faith. That is the kind of trust I still honor today. And it is the kind of trust I am asking from you. I rarely give you the whole map at once, because I know that if you had it, you might try to walk it without meeting me at every step. The partial clarity you have been waiting to outgrow is not a withholding. It is an invitation to stay close. It is my way of making sure you keep your hand in mine, because you need my voice for each next step. The walking together matters as much as the arriving, maybe more. So stop waiting for the complete picture before you move. Take the next step with the clarity you already have, because the step after that will only become visible once you are standing where the first one leads. I reveal the road as you walk it, and the only way to see what comes next is to keep moving toward me. This is also why the uncertainty you have been waiting to disappear is probably not going to disappear before you move. That uncertainty is not a warning sign. It is the normal texture of faith. It is what it feels like to trust someone with information you do not yet have. I am perfectly trustworthy with that information. I have never once been wrong. I have never once been late. I have never once led someone forward in genuine trust and then abandoned them in the middle of the road. My record is perfect, and your trust can rest on that record even when your feelings are not yet settled. My child, let us speak now about time, because what looked like a delay in your life was never a denial. I was working even when you could not see it. You thought the door stayed shut because I had forgotten you. I had not. I was arranging things on the other side of that door that you could not yet carry. People who were not ready, timing that had not yet lined up, pieces that needed to fall into place before you walked through. Every season that felt wasted to you was a season I was still moving in. Think of a field left lying fallow for a time. To anyone passing by, it looks abandoned. Nothing is growing, nothing seems to be happening at all, but the ground is resting, and rest is not the same as neglect. The soil is recovering its strengths, so that what is planted next will not wither under shallow roots. I have let parts of your life lie fallow on purpose, not because I lost interest in the harvest, but because I was protecting the ground that harvest would need. There is also a foundation being laid right now in ground you cannot see. You know how it works when something is being built. The parts that take the longest, the parts that require the most careful work, are the parts buried beneath the surface. The parts no one will ever see or admire once the building stands, but without them, nothing above the ground could hold. I have been doing exactly that kind of work in you. Long, quiet, unseen labor, laid deep enough that what I build on top of it will not shake when the storms come looking for a reason to knock it down. So let peace settle into the place where panic has been living. You do not have to understand every piece of the timeline to trust the one who is keeping it. You do not have to see the whole structure to trust the foundation being laid. Peace is not the absence of unanswered questions. Peace is the presence of a steady hand you have decided to trust, even while the questions remain. I am that steady hand. I have never once dropped what I was carrying for you, and I am not going to start now. Now, let us talk about the people around you, because sometimes the reason you delay obedience is not only internal, sometimes it is relational. Maybe there are people in your life who, when you shared something stirring in you, answered with doubt or a long practical list of every reason it would not work. Their words mixed with your own doubts and built a quiet case for why staying safe was the wise and responsible thing to do. Or maybe there are people you are afraid to disappoint. People whose approval has carried more weight in your decisions than it should have. A parent, a spouse, a close friend whose opinion feels like it holds the final vote on your life. You have been living inside an invisible enclosure built from the fear of their disapproval, and you have mistaken that enclosure for wisdom. I see all of that, and I do not minimize it. The people you love matter to me too. I made you for relationship, for community, for connection. That is not weakness. But I also made you with a calling that no other person can fully see or validate from the outside. And there will be moments when what I ask of you will not make sense to the people standing closest to you. There will be moments when your obedience requires disappointing someone you love. In those moments, you have to decide gently but clearly who you are ultimately living for. I am not asking you to be unkind or dismissive toward the people in your life. I am asking you to stop giving their opinions a seat that only I was ever meant to hold. The ones who truly love you and want what is best for you will come to understand eventually, even if they cannot see it yet. And even where they never fully understand, you will stand before me one day, and I will not ask whether your decisions made sense to everyone around you. I will ask whether you trusted me enough to obey. So release the grip other people's opinions have had on your decisions, not with bitterness, not with pride. Release it with the quiet confidence of someone who finally knows who they are living for. Let the fear of disappointing people take its proper place, far behind the simple joy of pleasing me, and walk forward in that freedom. Some of the people closest to you will become your loudest encouragers once they see the fruit of your obedience, simply because they could not see what I was doing while it was still hidden. That is not their failure or yours. It is simply the nature of unseen work. Fruit convinces in ways that explanation never can. And I am far more interested in growing real fruit in your life than I am in winning an argument on your behalf before the harvest comes. But I also want to be honest with you. Some people will not come around, no matter how much fruit grows. Some relationships are built on you staying exactly where you are, predictable and small and easy to manage. When you grow, when you change, when you finally say yes to what I have been asking of you, certain people will feel that growth as a kind of threat, even if they never say so out loud. That is not a reason to shrink back. It is simply the cost of becoming who I made you to be. And I will be with you on both sides of that cost, comforting what is lost and filling what grows in its place. I want you to notice something about the ones you carry in prayer. Your obedience does not only shape you, it shapes the path they walk beside you on. When you live free instead of afraid, when you move instead of stall, you give the people you love permission to do the same. You become proof, simply by living it, that a life surrendered to me is not a smaller life. It is a fuller one. What you give them costs you nothing but your willingness to walk forward. Now I want you to hear something important about where you have been. I do not waste anything, not the hard seasons, not the painful chapters, not the mistakes you have carried like stones in your pocket, not the years that felt like they went in circles. None of it was wasted. None of it was outside my ability to redeem, and none of it was beyond my power to turn into something that serves your story and ultimately serves the purposes I have for you. The years you feel you lost to fear and delay are not outside my redemption. I can take everything that happened in those years, every hesitation, every circling, every almost moment, and weave it into something that adds real depth to your calling, instead of leaving it as a gap in your story. The pain you walk through is not disqualifying you from what I have for you. It is quietly qualifying you in ways you cannot yet see, because the people who will need what you carry most are often the ones who need someone who has actually been through something real, someone who understands from the inside, someone who has not only heard about the valley but has walked through it. Your history is not a liability. It is part of your equipment, the very things you are most tempted to hide, the seasons you are most embarrassed by, the failures you wish you could erase. Those might be the very parts of your story that make what you carry most needed. Broken people do not need a perfect messenger. They need a real one. They need someone who has wrestled, who has doubted and come back, who has fallen and gotten back up, who has been afraid and moved anyway. That is the kind of testimony that changes a life. And that is the kind of story I have been writing in you through everything you have walked through. I want to tell you something about restoration because it is not the same as starting over. Starting over erases what came before and begins again from nothing. Restoration is different. Restoration takes what was broken and makes it whole again, scars and all, and then uses those very scars as proof of what I can do with a life that was willing to keep trusting me. I am not in the business of pretending your wounds never happened. I am in the business of redeeming them, of making them part of the testimony rather than something you have to hide to be useful to anyone. Think about how a bone heals after it breaks. The place where it mends often becomes stronger than the bone around it, not weaker. I work the same way in hearts. The places in you that broke and then healed under my hand are not your weakest places anymore. They have become some of the strongest because they carry both the memory of the wound and the proof of the mending. People who are still standing after being knocked down carry a kind of authority that people who have never been tested simply do not have. And that authority is part of what I want to move through you now. So stop looking at your past as something you must overcome before I can use you. Start looking at it as something I have already been using to shape you into exactly what the people I am sending you to most need. Your past is part of your purpose. Your pain is part of your preparation. And every chapter of the story I have written in you, even the ones you wish were different, is exactly what I need you to carry forward. I also want to speak to the atmosphere of your life right now, because something happens in the unseen places when you keep choosing delay over obedience. It is not punishment. It is simply the natural weight of misalignment. When you keep telling me not yet to what I have already said yes to, the air around your life begins to feel heavy, cloudy, congested, as though everything takes more effort than it should. Doors that should open feel stuck, conversations that should flow feel awkward, plans that should come together keep meeting resistance for no clear reason. Sometimes you have called that heaviness opposition, sometimes it is, but sometimes quietly it is simply the accumulated weight of unresolved obedience. The spiritual residue of things I asked for that I did not yet receive, and the same way your delay creates that heaviness, your obedience lifts it. When you finally say yes to what I have been asking, when you take the step you have been avoiding, when you bring your actions into line with my instruction, something shifts. Not always dramatically, not always visible to the natural eye, but there is a clearing, a lightness, a sense that what was blocked has begun to move again. You have felt that shift before. You know the difference between the peace that comes from genuine obedience and the numbness that comes from avoidance. You know the difference between a heart that is truly at rest and a heart that has simply stopped listening because listening had grown too uncomfortable. I am inviting you back into alignment today, not through striving, not through trying harder, or finally getting yourself together through sheer effort, but through the simple, clean, powerful act of saying yes. That alignment is the doorway to the atmosphere you have been longing for. That is where the heaviness lifts, the peace returns, and the momentum begins again. You do not have to manufacture that lightness yourself. It comes naturally, the moment your will lines up with mine, the way light naturally fills a room, the instant a door swings open state. I trust you if you believe this word belongs to your life right now, my child. I want to speak to you now about time in a way you may not have considered before. You know in your mind that life is short. You have heard it said many times, and you have nodded along to it. But I wonder if it has truly settled into the deep places of your heart in a way that changes how you make decisions on an ordinary day. There is a difference between knowing something in your head and carrying it as a living truth in your heart. Time is precious, not in a worn-out way, but in a real, practical, urgent way. Every day that passes does not come back. Every season carries opportunities that were uniquely available within it and nowhere else. The person you could speak to today may not be in the same place of openness tomorrow. The door cracked open right now may be closed by the time you finally feel ready to walk through it. The season of influence you are standing in will not last forever in exactly this shape. I am not trying to frighten you with this truth. I am trying to wake a holy urgency in you that moves you away from comfortable postponement and toward intentional living. I want you to look at your days differently, holding each one with a kind of grateful attention that says, this day matters. What I do today carries real weight, and I want to live it with purpose. That does not mean living in anxiety or constant pressure. It means being a good steward of the hours I give you. It means being present to what I am asking of you today, instead of always living for an imagined future that will never arrive in exactly the form you picture it. One of the most freeing things you could ever do is decide to live fully in the present day, not tomorrow's version of yourself, where every fear is gone and every question is answered. Right now, with the faith you currently carry, with the gifts you currently hold, with the courage that is available to you in this very moment, if you choose to reach for it. In the life you are actually living, not the one you keep waiting to begin, there is something else I want you to understand about your obedience. It was never only about you when I place a calling on a life. It is not for that person's benefit alone. It is for everyone that calling was meant to touch. There are people right now, some you have already met and some you have not yet met, who are waiting for what you carry. There are people stuck in the very place you were stuck before I brought you through it. People sitting in a darkness you have already walked out of. People carrying questions your story already holds the answer to. People who feel entirely alone in something you understand from the inside because you have lived it. Every day you delay your obedience is another day. Those people wait without what they need. Another day they remain stuck in something you could help them move through. Another day they feel alone in something you could help them carry. Does that change how you see your hesitation? Sometimes the most powerful reason to obey is not about you at all. Sometimes you need to stop thinking only of your own fear and start thinking about the people standing on the other side of your yes. Your assignment is connected to other people's breakthroughs. Your willingness to step forward creates a path for others to follow behind you. Your obedience is not only personal, it ripples outward in ways you will never be able to fully track or measure, touching the ones you carry in prayer, and many you will never even meet. That is exactly why I keep bringing it back to you. I can see what your yes will do in the earth, and I know it is too important to leave sitting on the table. Think of the turning of seasons. How winter never argues with spring. It simply gives way when its time is finished. There is an appointed turning coming in your life. A shift from the season you have been standing in toward the one I have already prepared for you. You do not have to force that turning by striving. You only have to stop resisting it. Let what has run its course finish running, and let what I am bringing next begin to rise in its place. The turning is not something you manufacture. It is something you walk into, the same way you walk from one room into another simply by moving forward. I also want you to think about a desert crossing, because some of you have felt like you have been wandering for a long time without arriving anywhere. The desert feels endless when you are inside it, the same stretch of ground repeating itself day after day until you start to wonder if you are moving at all. But a desert is not a place I send you to lose you. It is a place I cross with you on the way to somewhere else. A place where you learn to depend on bread that falls fresh every morning. Instead of bread you stored up yourself. A place where your trust in my provision becomes the very thing that prepares you for what is waiting on the other side of the sand. If you are in a desert season right now, hear me clearly. The crossing has a far side. You will not wander forever. Every step you take, even the ones that feel repetitive and unremarkable, is carrying you closer to the edge of it. Even on the days when the horizon looks exactly the same as it did yesterday, I have not lost track of you in the sand. I am walking every mile of it with you, and I know precisely where the desert ends. So hold today with both hands. Do not let it slip past you unattended while you wait for a more convenient one to arrive. The harvest you are hoping for is not hiding in some distant, more comfortable future. It is hidden inside the ordinary obedience available to you right now, today, in the life you are actually living. My child, let us talk about endurance, because beginning is one thing but continuing is another. Some of you have started before. You took that brave first step, and then something happened that was harder than you expected. A setback, a disappointment, a moment where it did not work the way you hoped. And that became the moment you pulled back, and the pause became permanent. What was meant to be a momentary regrouping became a full withdrawal. Now you are here again, feeling my invitation rise once more, feeling that familiar stirring, and part of you wants to respond, but another part remembers the last time, and that memory makes saying yes again feel harder than it should. I want to speak to that place in you today. I honor that you tried before, and I honor the courage it took. I was there when it got hard. I saw you stumble, and I am not asking you to pretend it did not hurt. But the setback was not the end of the story. The stumble was not a disqualification. It was part of the journey, teaching you what you needed to know and removing what would have hindered you later. This time is different, not because the circumstances are guaranteed to be easier, but because you are different. You carry more now than you carried the last time you tried. You have been shaped by what you walked through, and that shaping is exactly what this next season needs from you. So do not let the memory of a previous stumble become the reason you never fully try again. Get back up, step forward again. Let the history of what you survived become the very testimony that fuels your next chapter. Now hear me on something practical, something small that has quietly stolen more dreams than almost anything else. The word tomorrow. It sounds so innocent. It sounds like a friend giving you relief without requiring anything from you. It lets you agree with me in your heart without ever having to move your feet. And that is exactly why it is so dangerous. Every time you tell yourself you will do it tomorrow, you make a small agreement with delay, and once you make that agreement, it becomes easy to make it again, until tomorrow becomes your default answer to anything that requires courage. Then, one day you look up, and months or years have passed, and the thing I placed in front of you is still sitting exactly where it was, untouched, unclaimed, waiting. I do not want that to be your story full of almosts. All the times you were almost ready, almost brave enough, almost willing to trust. That word, almost, is one of the saddest words in the life of faith, because it means you stood at the edge of something real and let it slip away. Today is the day that pattern ends, not because every fear has gone silent, but because I am asking, and my grace is available to you today, not only tomorrow. Real faith rarely looks like the picture you have carried in your mind. The confident smile, the unshaken certainty that everything will work out exactly right. Real faith often feels like stepping off a ledge in the dark, hoping the ground is closer than it seems. It feels like speaking while your voice is still shaking, moving while your hands still tremble, starting while your mind is still full of questions. What makes it faith is not how steady you feel. What makes it faith is who you are trusting. If your yes is directed toward me, it counts. Even if your knees are weak and your heart is racing twice its normal speed. I rarely come the way you expect. I did not come to one of my prophets in the earthquake or in the fire, but in a still, small voice after the noise had finally passed. I did not call my first followers from a throne room or a temple court. I found them by the shore, mending nets, going about an ordinary day, and I simply said, "Follow me," and they left what they were holding and walked after me. The call rarely arrives with thunder. Most of the time it comes as a quiet nudge, a thought that keeps returning, an ordinary next step that does not feel dramatic enough to be from heaven. Do not dismiss it for being small. Some of the greatest things I have ever done in the earth began with someone obeying a very small instruction. So here is what I am asking you to do before you do anything else. Once these words end, take a few minutes. Sit quietly before me. Ask me one honest question. What is the one step I have been asking you to take that you have been avoiding? Not 5 steps, not a whole list, just one. The one that has been waiting the longest. Then listen. When I show you, make it specific. Give it a moment in your day and do it. Today, if you can this week, if not today, let this be the day something in your life actually changed. The life I have for you is not a distant dream waiting in some far-off, more convenient future. It is available now on the other side of the obedience you have been postponing, and it is richer and fuller than the life you have been living in the shadow of your delay. I have been calling you toward it for a long time, and today, once more, I am asking you, will you say yes? Not almost yes. Not yes, but later, a real yes. The kind that moves your feet and lifts your hands toward what I have already shown you. Rise, my beloved. The season of staying still has passed, and the season of movement is here. I am with you. My strength is sufficient. My love does not change with your performance, and everything you need for the next step is already placed inside you by the one who designed you for exactly this moment. Take the step, move forward and discover, as so many before you have discovered, that the God who calls you is also the God who carries you every single step of the way from this moment until the very last one. Speak. Amen now, if you are ready to rise and to walk forward with me, and I want to address something you have not spoken aloud to anyone. The version of you that you perform for the world, capable, composed, moving through your days with enough competence to avoid suspicion. That version is exhausting you. You have worn it so long you have nearly forgotten. It is a costume. I am not asking you to tear it off in front of everyone. I am simply asking you to stop wearing it when you are alone with me. You do not have to arrive at my feet with anything assembled. Bring the unfinished version. Bring the version that does not know what comes next. That is precisely the one I am asking to step forward, because polished people are not what this season requires. This season requires someone willing to be seen as they actually are and trusted enough to move anyway. That is available to you right now. God bless you.